Ladies and gentlemen, a mere 46 seconds have caught the world's attention. Paris Olympics 2024 has landed not just a blow, but a huge controversy in a boxing match between Algerian Imen Khalif and Italy's Angela Carini. Angela, who withdrew from the bout after the first 46 seconds, said Imen punched her so hard that her nose bled and she had to save her life. She collapsed on her knees and sobbed in the middle of the ring after the defeat and did not shake hands with Imen, who then entered the quarterfinals in the category after the victory. Angela has accused Imen of being a man and not a woman, saying that it was an unequal match. Here's where the trouble started. The International Olympic Committee allowed two boxers, Imen and Taiwan's Lin Yuting, who failed the gender eligibility test for the World Boxing Championships, to be made eligible to compete in this year's Paris Olympics. In Khalif's case, she was disqualified for a high level of testosterone in her system. There are also reports that Imen Khalif was found to have the XY chromosome and a rare specific one, 46XY. A condition also known as differences of sexual development or DSD that has differences in genitalia from those that are usually associated with birth. It's got the world divided and thrown open the gender identity debate. On the show today, I first am joined by India's celebrated athlete and someone who was banned herself for high testosterone levels back in 2014. She went on to bag medals for the country. I'm joined by Duti Chand. Duti, good evening, namaskar. Thank you very much for joining us on Mirror Now. सबसे पहली बात दुती, ये कंट्रोवर्सी हो गई है जहां पे इमरान खलीफ के अगेंस्ट बोला जा रहा है कि उनका जेंडर क्लैरिटी नहीं है और वो जीत गई ये मैच. आपका फर्स्ट रिस्पांस इस पूरी कंट्रोवर्सी पे?
तो सुनने के बाद मुझे थोड़ा दुख लगा कि इतनी बड़ी कंपटीशन में एक लड़की को ऊपर सब अंगूठा उठा रही है. इसका बॉडी के स्ट्रक्चर को और इसका हार्मोन को लेकर ज्यादा बातचीत हो रहा है अभी सोशल मीडिया में हो या कहीं पे भी. तो मेरे हिसाब से तो देखें तो देखो, जो जैसे पैदा हुआ है ऐसे ही जीना चाहिए. और ये जो भी जैसे बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर जैसा है वो तो भगवान ने बनाया, खुद ने बनाया, इसका तो कोई गलती नहीं है. इसको ज्यादा बदनाम क्यों करा जा रहा है पूरी वर्ल्ड में. ऐसा सिचुएशन तो मैंने फेस भी किया है 2014 में, जब ग्लासगो कॉमनवेल्थ गेम के लिए सिलेक्ट हुई थी. सिर्फ 3 दिन से पहले मुझे टीम से निकाल दिया गया और बोला गया उस टाइम में कि मेरा जेंडर मेल है, फीमेल नहीं है, इसलिए मैं वुमेन कैटेगरी में खेल नहीं सकती हूँ. तो काफी झेलना पड़ा उस टाइम में, मुझे काफी दिक्कत हुआ था. मुझे काफी लोगों का सवाल और लोगों का ताना मारना काफी क्रिएट मैंने हुआ था उस टाइम में, क्रिटिसाइज किए थे मुझे को लेके. मैं काफी दुख सोया उस टाइम में. तो वही सिचुएशन अभी इसका सामने आ रहा है अभी. तो खुद को प्रूव करने के लिए मुझे 1 साल लग गया, क्योंकि कोर्ट में जाके केस अपील किया, कोर्ट ऑफ आर्बिट्रेशन स्पोर्ट्स में खुद को प्रूव किया कि मैं फीमेल हूँ और मेरा टेस्टोस्टेरोन हार्मोन जो लेवल बढ़ा था वो नेचुरली था. सारा कुछ प्रूव करके फिर मैं 1 साल के बाद फिर रिटर्न आके फिर खेला. तो ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंजफुल था मेरे लिए. अब ऐसे भी इसके ऊपर भी चैलेंज रहेगा, वो फेस करेगा. तो ज्यादा दिक्कत का कहानी है. वो लोग को इस टाइम में सपोर्ट करना चाहिए, खिलाड़ी लोग को सपोर्ट करना चाहिए.
द्युति, ज़रूर आपने बहुत चैलेंजेस फेस किए हैं, आपने उन्हें ओवरकम किया है, आप कंट्री के लिए मेडल्स भी लाई हैं, बट हमारे व्यूअर्स के लिए और हम जैसे लोगों के लिए जो स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन्स नहीं हैं, उनको समझाइए कि ये जेंडर टेस्ट कैसे किए जाते हैं इतने बड़े स्पोर्टिंग इवेंट्स में.
अभी तो रिसेंटली जेंडर टेस्ट नहीं हो रहा है किसी की महिला को. हाइपोजेम टेस्टिंग हो रहा है, मतलब टेस्टोस्टेरोन हार्मोन लेवल टेस्ट हो रहा है और डोपिंग टेस्ट होता है. डोपिंग टेस्ट इसलिए किया जाता है कि काफी ऐसे एथलीट रहते हैं जो बाहर से ड्रग्स मेडिसिन यूज करते हैं परफॉर्मेंस को बढ़ाने के लिए. स्पीड हो, ताकत हो, स्ट्रेंथ हो, पावर, ये सब बढ़ाने के लिए आउटसाइड में मेडिसिन यूज करते हैं. इसी को रुकाने के लिए ड्रग में जो डोपिंग टेस्ट किया जाता है, यूरिन से टेस्ट किया जाता है. और हार्मोन लेवल जो रूल था पहले, अभी रूल तो है नहीं, पहले तो रूल था कि कोई भी महिला के अंदर में हार्मोन लेवल ज्यादा रहेंगे तो इसी को टीम से खेलने के लिए नहीं दिया जाएगा. तो इसलिए ब्लड लेके इसको टेस्ट किया जाता है. और जेंडर टेस्ट तब आता है कोई लड़का लड़की के साथ खेल रहे, काफी ऑब्जेक्शन उठा रहे, इनके ऊपर कोई आरोप लगा रही है, तो इसी को फुल बॉडी एमआरआई टेस्ट करा के इनको पता करता है कि प्रॉपरली ये लड़का है या लड़की है. तो ये तीनों चीज टेस्ट होता है. तो हम किसी को देख के नहीं बोल सकते कि ये लड़का है। इसके लिए पूरा मेडिकल टीम रहता है, साइंटिस्ट फिजिकल टीम रहता है। वो पूरा परीक्षा निरीक्षा करके पूरा बताता है कि लोगों की इसका सर्टिफिकेट में ये लड़का ही लड़का है। और ऐसे देखेंगे तो इसका जो पासपोर्ट साइज में पासपोर्ट में हो, पूरी बचपन की तरह देखेंगे तो इसमें फीमेल लिखा हुआ है, कहीं पे भी मेल मेंशन हुआ नहीं। और इससे पहले काफी कंपटीशन भी खेला है उन्होंने। और ऐसा कंपटीशन है, 9 कंपटीशन ऐसा है जो हार चुका है, खेल के भी जीत नहीं पाई। तो उस टाइम में कोई कुछ सवाल नहीं उठाया, लेकिन अभी सवाल उठा रही है जीतने के बाद। तो वही समस्या है अभी।
दुती, इमैन खलीफ के खिलाफ एक तो है टेस्टोस्टेरोन, जो उनका हार्मोनल लेवल का एलिगेशन है कि वो हाई है। दूसरी बात है क्रोमोसोम क्या पाए गए हैं, XY क्रोमोसोम 46XY। तो ये दोनों आर्ग्यूमेंट्स दी जा रही हैं जो इटालियन, जो उनकी अपोनेंट थी, उनको सपोर्ट करते हैं। उसके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगी?
वो तो साइंटिफिकल टीम करेंगे, मुझे तो इतना मालूम नहीं। वर्ल्ड एथलेटिक्स एसोसिएशन जो रूल रेगुलेशन बनाया है, उनको पता होगा कि कौन सी चीज। मैं तो यही कहूँगी, मेरे हिसाब से जो नेचुरल या हार्मोन हो या कुछ भी, जो खुद को महिला मानते हैं और बचपन से लेकर अभी तक महिला की कैटेगरी में है और खुद को महिला फील करते हैं, तो इनको हम कैसे लड़का बना सकेंगे? लड़का नहीं बना पाएंगे। तो जिनका हक है खेलने का, वो तो देश के लिए खेल रहा है और कड़ी मेहनत भी कर रहा है। बिना मेहनत में थोड़ी ना जाके खेल रहे कि हाँ, वो कुछ वर्कआउट किया नहीं, ट्रेनिंग नहीं करते, डायरेक्ट इमीडिएटली आके मेडल लेके चला जा रही। तो ऐसा तो हुआ नहीं। तो ये सब रूल लगा के किसी को बदनाम करना, इसको खेल से रुकाना, बैन लगाना, ये तो मेरे लिए सबसे सही नहीं।
जी, दूती, धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए और अपने थॉट्स शेयर करने के लिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच। So that was Duti Chand, ladies and gentlemen, an athlete who was banned herself back in 2014. She says that Iman Khalif is being unfairly targeted. Let's get a more broader perspective on this. On the broadcast, I'm joined by Dr. Deepa Malik. She's President Paralympic Committee. She's also Padma Shri awardee. I'm also joined by Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairperson, NEFRON. Good evening and namaskar to both of you. Thank you very much for joining us on Mirror Now. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, let me start with you. As far as I understand, it all boils down to what is the status, what is the situation medically. Can you help us understand what is 46XY, what is the case of Iman Khalif? Where does this really stand medically?
Good evening. So I think this has opened a completely new gamut of medical, legal, social, genetic aspects into competitive sports and international sports. So this is broadly classified as ambiguous gender. Now, when you talk in terms of this, it is gender identity and gender expression behavior which don't conform to the typical association of sex assigned at birth. Now, there is a difference between being phenotypically female and genotypically female. A human being has 46, what we call as 23 pairs, which is 46 chromosomes. 22 are common. It is called as autosomes, and one pair is the sex chromosome. So a lady has XX and a male has XY. In any aberration of genetic mutation or genetic changes which take place right at the inception, that means when the baby is being formed inside the uterus, you get these changes which are called as syndromes. Now, what we are seeing in this particular athlete as 46XY is called as Swayer's syndrome. These are called as streak gonads. Externally, they appear as females, but internally they have huge amount of metabolic chaos, including genetic aberrations. They run high levels of testosterone. Now, what does testosterone do in a normal human being and in an athlete? Testosterone is a male sex hormone. Females also have testosterone, but 1/20th the level of that in males, so it's much lower. The normal levels are well identified for men and for women. For men, it is up to 900 milligram percent. In ladies, it is generally less than 200 or 250. If you run a high testosterone level, it is both androgenic, that means sex hormone, and anabolic, that means muscle mass enhancement. In professional, competitive, and especially combative sports, such as boxing or rugby or judo karate, these cause more aggression, build muscle mass. They give you more power, more strength, more stamina, more structural bone strength. You don't get fatigued that early. You
Okay.
have less of fat in the body, which is very important for athletes. You have less water content, very important for athletes because you can then shift weight categories. And you have huge amount of muscle mass enhancement and weight loss. So they
Okay.
power much more in competitive sports. Overall, it's an unfair advantage. And I think overall, Indian Olympic Association and other world bodies should have a more uniform criteria of screening. But my own personal suggestion medically is that chromosomal and hormonal assays must be made mandatory in all competitive international sports.
In this case, Dr. Bagai, can you help us on where would you then categorize Iman Khalif? What gender?
Yeah, so this is what we call as mixed gender. This is something in a broad category called as syndrome.
Okay.
Syndrome is a constellation of findings. It's not one just identity. The word syndrome means constellation of findings which occur together in a human being. This is called as Swyer syndrome. They run high testosterone levels, less female hormones.
So is
Phenotypically, that means externally they appear as women, but internally they have a mixed gender as far as your ovaries, uterus, and other organs are concerned.
So then would it be correct, Dr. Bagai, to categorize people who have this situation in a third gender, or would it be incorrect?
It will be very difficult to actually, it becomes more a moral and social and legal issue. But on a medical aspect, if these kind of athletes are fighting women who have a normal chromosomal picture and a normal lady-like picture, it would be hugely unfair because the advantage competitively, hormonally, is with these syndromic athletes.
Okay. Let me get in Dr. Deepa Malik on this. Dr. Deepa Malik, we just heard Dr. Bagai and the kind of situation that he stated and the kind of gray areas that this situation now has. How does one then move about as an Olympic committee, as the IBA, which had banned two athletes, including Iman Khalif last year? Now, of course, the Olympics need to rethink about the kind of rules and guidelines it has in place.
Evolved tremendously over a period of time, and we have seen science, technology, a lot of knowledge, sports science that has become a part of it, whether in terms of nutrition, whether in terms of the banned substances, drug use. So we are constantly evolving as sports bodies. So it is time now to address these questions also, because today the world is very inclusive. We talk about inclusion, we talk about acceptance, and there are certain genders and transgenders areas which are made legal. So we are very openly identifying with these medical or hormonal conditions and accepting them as normal. But normalization does not mean that we do not pay attention to the equal field of play. For example, we are persons with disabilities, and when we go out there to play, there is a proper medical classification of the functionality of the muscle groups, so that there is a fair play out there. Even within the wheelchair categories, we have 7 very defined different muscle group categories. In visual impairment, there is a certain degree of visual impairment. Only then you qualify to be a visually impaired athlete. And in that also further, there are categories.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to derive here is that similarly, there should be a very hard and fast rule and a common universal rule across the world on such levels of hormonal chromosomes and all the medical terms that Dr. Saab just explained, so that women are not disadvantaged. We are not saying sports is not for all. Definitely
so in
it's
this
for
case,
all,
Dr. Deepa
but it has
Malik,
to be
can I understand from you where you
judged.
stand on... Sure. On this case particularly, Dr. Malik, how do you see this entire issue? It's clearly divided the world, not just the ones who are at the Olympics. The entire world is talking about it. You've got the ones who say what Angela Carini did was the right thing to do. The others say that Iman Khalif is being targeted unfairly, and that just because she's won a match now, she's being targeted because earlier she's lost matches as well.
I think this this is a matter of research and medical declaration of different levels of chromosomes and hormones that she has, and she should not be advantaged due to any such situation. I am an athlete myself, and the first and foremost rule of playing any sport is play true, play fair. And anything that is being protested should be researched. There should be more medical research put in there, and then the play should be of equal level. I definitely say that should be play true and play fair.
Okay. You know, one of the things that baffled me, Dr. Deepa Malik, was also the fact that the reason why she was admitted as the female opponent in this match after this controversy broke out, what IOC said, is that her passport said that she's a female, and therefore we admitted her as a female. How logical is that in this kind of a situation? How fair is that in this kind of a situation?
I think an onus definitely lies on the national committees as well when they are proposing a particular athlete in a particular category or a gender. They also need to be very sure when they are taking a team out. After all, see what has happened now. And there should be more reliable sources or medical tests now that we have a lot of inclusion in the world, and people from every diverse background, existence, and gender identification are coming forward and playing. We need to have more defined medical rulings around gender and the participation. And for example, when there used to be a lot of age fraud, we devised the dental, the dental checkup, and that is to find out the correct age. Just a day before yesterday, I was at the unveiling of the Subroto Football Cup for junior and sub-junior girls and boys. And the game is played across India, where children under 14 are also being invited to play. So there is a mandatory dental test to further determine their age, despite the age which is written in their entry forms. So we have to be very sure that we give all our athletes level field of play.
Okay. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, medically speaking, how equipped are we, how evolved are we in terms of our medical tech to actually, conduct such tests and categorize these people who have this situation and then take steps forward and then recommend steps forward to Olympic associations, to sporting events such as these?
Yeah, so a lot of part of my earlier training in medical college was in the genetic department, so I know a fair bit of it. I think not only India but worldwide, we are fairly well advanced. It's not only on a very detailed analytics of chromosomal tests, but even hormonal levels. So just allow me just 60 seconds to explain. We see a lot of adolescents and young adults coming in who are taking supplementary hormones, which is not good. And these hormones are used in different parts of your weight training, either for gaining weight or for cutting. If you're running a high testosterone level, and it's almost impossible to differentiate between endogenous production, that means your body is producing testosterone, or you've taken it externally, your body will have a much higher endurance power. It's an uneven playing field. It's an unfair advantage to some athletes who have this. Now, the question really of morally and legally comes is, whose fault is it? It's no one's fault, but it's neither the fault of the athlete who's running a normal testosterone level as a young lady athlete to get knocked off in 45 seconds and her entire career is down the drain. I think we need to relook at the entire screening process. We need to screen for hormones, we need to screen for chromosomes, and we need a more detailed evaluation of all athletes. Now, we can't have different criteria for Olympics and different criteria for World Championships, Commonwealth Championships. It should be a uniform criteria so that everyone falls in the same gamut. I again say, competitive athletes need level playing field.
Absolutely. All right, we'll leave it there. Lots of introspection that needs to be done, lots of changes that need to be brought in when we talk about our sporting events. Dr. Deepa Malik, apologies, I have paucity of time. I won't be able to come to you. I have to wrap
Yes.
it up here. But thank you very much
No.
to both of you, Dr. Deepa Malik and Dr. Bagai, for joining us and sharing your perspective. Thank you very much.